Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this week we're expecting a new iPhone. We're also seeing what the iPhone 17 could look like, and we're finally going to get iOS 18.4 Beta 1 at least. This is your weekly Apple News update for the week of February 17th, 2025. Now, a new Apple store is coming in downtown Detroit soon, and Apple has the store mentioned in a Find Store option, as well as some job postings listed here. You'll see it says Coming Soon, Careers at Apple, and it says Apple Downtown Detroit. There's no additional details about it, but they are hiring staff for it, so we should see that soon. If you use WhatsApp, there's a new update coming to it, or you may already have it, but WhatsApp now has a new themes option as well as new wallpaper. They announced it on their blog post here where it says chat themes to reflect your style, and then you can see there's new wallpaper. 30 new wallpaper options. It says to change the theme of your chats and channels, go to Settings, Chats, Default Chat Theme. The features are now starting to roll out and will be available globally over the coming weeks. I don't see them yet, but let me know if you're seeing them in the comments below. Last week, Apple also introduced a new health study. This is for iPhone, Apple Watch, and AirPods. You can see it here on the Apple Newsroom where it says New Holistic Apple Health Study launches today in the Research app. The collaboration with Brigham and Women's Hospital takes a complete approach to understanding how data can predict, detect, and manage health and well-being. So that's available now in the Research app if you want to check it out, and you can read more about it. I'll link it in the description as well. Apple Intelligence is launching in more places this year, and Apple is working with Alibaba and Baidu in China to help integrate AI services similar to how we have ChatGPT in the USA. Each region around the world requires different laws and changes for AI, so you'll see that probably around the world, maybe in the EU soon as well. Apple updated the Pixelmator Pro app after they completed their acquisition of the app this past week, and the company now owns Pixelmator, and hopefully they make it better in the future. I really hope it doesn't fall by the wayside, but they've been updating Final Cut Pro and other apps for quite some time fairly well. I would love to see a lot of updates though, like we've been getting with Pixelmator Pro, so hopefully those continue. If you've been wanting a new Mac Mini M4, those are now being resold by Apple in the refurbished store. They're available online now, and you'll get up to about a 15% discount depending on which model you go for if you want to get it refurbished. But it has the same warranty as a new one, so I've had no issues picking those up in the past. As far as Apple's weekly deals, well, there's quite a few good ones this week. Of course, AirPods are always on perpetual discount, it seems, but Apple Pencil Pro is down to $99. There's deals on Beats and other headphones, and I'll link all of those in the description as well. Now, when it comes to releases this week, well, we're expecting quite a few things. We've had some news about it over the weekend, where iOS 18.4 Beta 1 is expected this week, and it should have information about maybe the new upcoming iPhone SE in it. So we can expect that to be pushed out sometime this week, but we don't know the exact date. Basically, at the time of this video, I would expect it on Tuesday or Wednesday at this point. That will bring all of the new features, hopefully some changes here, and maybe some updates to Apple Intelligence. However, Mark Gurman this week has said many of the features originally expected for iOS 18.4 could be pushed to iOS 18.5. And MacRumors is also seeing iOS 18.5 already being tested. They're seeing it in their visitor logs, so they typically see this before a release, and so it's odd that we haven't had any betas of iOS 18.4 yet, but I would expect that as soon as this week. When it comes to Apple Vision Pro, we're set to get some updates as well, according to Mark Gurman. Vision OS 2.4 betas are expected this week, and it could include some new Apple Intelligence features since we don't have it on the Vision Pro, a new spatial content app, and an updated guest mode making it easier to use. So we're expecting all of those things this week, and some new products we'll talk about in just a moment. When it comes to iPhone, well, the iPhone 17 Air has been rumored for some time. It's expected to be super thin and launch maybe next year at this point as a replacement for the iPhone 16 Plus as the thinnest iPhone ever. In fact, it's said to be thinner than the iPhone 6. And with the iPhone 6, with it being super thin, we did have some issues with it bending early on. Thankfully, I never had an issue with it. You can see this is my iPhone 6 from years ago, and it's held up pretty well. But it's incredibly thin, and the new iPhone is said to be even thinner than this. However, recent leaks show exactly what it can look like. This is from a recent post by Weiss Studio on Instagram, and it looks like this is what the iPhone 17 Air could look like, with a camera bar across the back and a super thin design overall. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Also, John Prosser this week leaked what he believes to be the actual design of the iPhone 17 Pro models. It would have a giant camera bar on the back, And many people are saying that this is what it should look like, and then others are saying it's not. We'll talk about that in a second. But another leaker has also said that the dynamic island this year will shrink. Jon Prosser actually said that it won't shrink, but we could get a smaller version of the dynamic island as Apple aims to shrink the overall sensor, Face ID sensor, camera, and more. Now, with the iPhone 17 Air and iPhone 17 Pro leaks, it makes sense why many people have been confused about the designs we're expecting, and maybe it would have a camera bar similar to the Pixel 9 phones. It seems many of the models are still not the final design. We keep hearing conflicting information between Mark Gurman, Jon Prosser, and others, and at this point, it looks like Apple's still working out the details of what it could actually look like. So we could have a giant camera bar on the back, we could have a smaller one, similar camera arrangement for spatial photo and video, but we really don't know, it seems, and that does add a little bit of excitement as at this point we've heard a lot about what we expect. Like what we expect this week with the iPhone SE4 launch, or iPhone 16e as many people are calling it. It will be the replacement for the iPhone SE 3rd generation and is expected on Wednesday. Many expected it to be called the iPhone 16e instead of the SE4, and Tim Cook said that they have a product to launch this Wednesday, and it would be joining the family, hinting at an iPhone. At this point, we know exactly what it looks like. It looks similar to what the iPhone 14 looks like, with its sort of squared off edges. We also have a 6.1-inch display. We don't know if it's LCD or OLED at this point. We do expect Face ID. We also expect an A18 CPU, 8 gigs of RAM with Apple Intelligence, USB-C, a 48-megapixel camera, and Apple's very own 5G modem. And we expect a price around $499 to start. So all of those things are expected very soon. Again, we don't know 100% what it's going to have, maybe some surprises, but we do expect it to launch this week, or at least be introduced this week and possibly go on sale by next Friday. So usually we'll have pre-orders the coming Friday, so we'll have the announcement Wednesday, the pre-orders Friday, and then it goes on sale the following Friday, typically in the stores. So that's usually what we see unless they change that up. Apple is also very serious about creating a folding phone, it seems, in the near future. They're now working with Lens Technology in China to help create ultra-thin glass for the upcoming iPhone Fold, according to a report from DigiTimes. The folding iPhone is not expected until 2026, but it seems like it's going to be something we'll definitely see. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what that is, but many people expect it to be, instead of being a clamshell, they expect it to open sideways like we have with the Pixel Fold, as well as Samsung's own Fold and not the flip phone. We're also expecting a new iPad 11th gen to replace the 10th generation. We got a new keyboard and sort of stand that you can get for this with the 10th generation. We expect a similar design, just with some upgraded internals. We also expect new updated iPad Air models very soon, with an 11-inch and 13-inch model, and maybe some new chipsets, of course, with Apple Intelligence support, just like the old ones have. When it comes to Macs, well, we're waiting for an upgraded MacBook Air to just bring in the M4 chipset. Not really any change there, but we could see that with the iPhone launch this week. But Mark Gurman says March will be the latest it should be released. So if we don't see it this week, we could definitely see it in the coming weeks. An updated MacBook Air display is expected in 2027, according to the ELEC, with an oxide TFT technology display that would just be an upgrade from what we currently have. Apple's also working on an updated Studio display with a similar size to the current 27-inch model, according to Mark Gurman, but the new model is expected in 2026, along with the launch of the new M5 Max, as Apple is working on that chip already. Apple Maps is something more and more people are regularly using as Apple updates it, and it seems to provide a really nice look along with your directions and more information. But it seems Apple may try to monetize the app in the future, according to Mark Gurman this past weekend in his Power On newsletter. According to Gurman, software engineers began working on ads for Apple Maps in 2022, but didn't move forward with the idea. This would not be ads, just banner ads all over the place, but would rather be ads that show up when you search for something such as Burger King or McDonald's or fast food. They could have an advertised restaurant at the top with someone that's advertising it. So it's something they could be working on. They're considering it, but engineering hasn't resumed work, but is considering it very soon. So it's something we could see in the near future. Apple has been working on HomePod as well. We're expecting a HomePod Mini 2 I've talked about before, as well as something many people are referring to as a HomePad that would be a house controlling device that looks like a HomePod and a 6-inch screen combined. However, Apple has been working on humanoid-like robots, as we saw last week with a lamp that had responded in a friendly way, and Apple posted more information about on a research website. Ming Chi Kuo this week has said that the project is still in proof of concept stage, and if Apple does move forward with it, it won't be until 2028 until we see anything. Now, it looks like Meta is working on something similar, and at this point, I'm not sure this is something that Apple would actually release, or they just are sort of coming up with some ideas that would integrate into Siri in the future. But either way, it looks like they're moving forward with that. But I still think they need to get their software right before they move on with any other projects. But let me know what you think about that in the comments below. So that's everything this week that we're expecting. Wednesday should be fairly exciting. Maybe we'll get some products we didn't expect, maybe some updates we didn't expect. But if iPhone SE comes in with Apple Intelligence, has their own modem that could be much better than a Qualcomm modem, and has some additional things we weren't expecting, that could be a great selling device. But I'll have to get my hands on it and, of course, unbox it and review it for you as well. If you have any other questions or things you'd like to see in the weekly news update, let me know in the comments below, and I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.